Here we go, the battle of the bass lords. Can the Mini stand toe to toe with its bigger brother, or does it crumble? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to another battle of the basses between two IEMs that has one of the, if not the hardest hitting ground rumbling bass in an IEM. The two bass superstars from Fatfreq, the Maestro SE versus the baby brother, the Maestro Mini. This video is here to hopefully answer a few burning questions that's been lingering around these two IEMs. What is the difference between the two, and is the SE really worth the upgrade? Before we begin, if you have been enjoying the videos I've been putting out, please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button. That'll help the channel a lot and I truly appreciate each and every one of your support. I'll be talking briefly about the two as I've already made in-depth review for both of them, and I'll leave links in the description down below if you'd like to check them out. With that out of the way, let's talk about their accessories. You're essentially getting the same accessories for both the Maestro SE and the Maestro Mini, from the ear tips to the cleaning tool right down to the stock cable. You can purchase this beautiful blue cable for the Maestro SE, but unfortunately it'll set you back another $150. So other cheaper cable alternatives that I personally feel is better than the stock cable for either the Maestro SE or the Mini would be like the Chimera lading cable or the Let's Sure Chimera upgrade cable, as they pair really well with both the Maestro's design and they come with multiple terminations as well. For the designs, you're essentially getting the same concept design for both the Maestro SE and Mini, with the biggest difference being that the SE has the MSE initials on the left faceplate, while the Maestro Mini has the Fatfreq wording on that, but both have the Fatfreq logo on the right faceplate, and they all utilize this gold font against this blue pattern background, which looks great, although I do wish the Maestro SE had a different design or scheme just to make it more identifiable from afar. While they both do not have any filters at the nozzle, my Maestro Mini does have the entire area exposed with the driver being visible. However, based on some recent feedback from Maestro Mini users, it would seem that Fatfreq has put in a faceplate on the Maestro Mini, which is great, but sad for me. As for fit and comfort, there's no denying it. The Maestro SE is chunky. If you own the Monarch Mark II, then the Maestro SE would be in the same league size-wise as the Monarch Mark II. Both of the IEMs have more grooves and contours to their design to make for a better fit. However, between the two, the Maestro Mini is simply going to be more comfortable due to its much smaller size, and for the Maestro SE, I would say if you tried and found the Monarch Mark II uncomfortable, then you'd probably have the same experience for the Maestro SE, if not only a touch better due to its contours. For me personally, I can wear the Maestro Mini for hours and not feel anything, but for the SE, I do feel some pressure in certain areas after a few hours, and I would require some adjustments once in a while. Due to their size as well, the ear tips that I use to get the best seal are different for either one of them. For my ears personally, I get the best seal by using the SpinFit CP100 on a large for the Maestro Mini, and for the Maestro SE, I'm using the Moondrop spring tips on the medium. With that all out of the way, let's see what the difference is in their sound presentation. The bass. Let's get this out of the way. If you are looking for one of the best bass experiences in an IEM, the Maestro series got you covered. It is deep, it is hard-hitting, it is powerful, and it will satisfy every bass head's lust for bass. However, personally, in my experience, there are slight differences between the two. The Maestro Mini has a touch more punch to its mid-bass, but the Maestro SE has a slightly deeper sub-bass, and that depth on the SE gives the bass presentation a little bit more texture, and while the mid-bass is not as punchy as the Mini, it still punches really hard, and with that sub-bass, it gives it a little bit more fullness as well to the bass note. I haven't tried doing a blind test between the two, but I would say it would be quite difficult to differentiate between the two, so it's not a night and day performance between the Maestro Mini and the SE unless you're really focusing on the differences. But for me personally, every time I put the Maestro SE on, I still get blown away by that bass presentation because it is just so enjoyable. The impact, the rumble, and the growl, the bass detail, that 360 surround bass, what an experience. And the bass on the Mini, while still enjoyable, doesn't blow me the way SE's bass blows me. That sentence came out wrong, but I'm keeping it. For the mid-range, if there's one thing the Maestro IEMs are known for, is how clean they are able to keep the mid-range despite having all that bass behind it. Also, both have a more forward presentation so that the vocals are able to stand at least toe-to-toe with all that bass. The Maestro Mini is a touch more forward than the Maestro SE, however, do not expect both IEMs to be vocal focused as they both bring the background music forward as well, so while the vocals don't get lost in the track, they are not the highlight of the track either. If you want to enjoy all the accompaniments alongside the vocals, then you might enjoy these. However, if you're all about hearing the vocals and everything else should be in the background, then both of these IEMs will not satisfy your lust for vocal focused sound presentations. For me personally, both the treble on the Maestro Mini and SE are quite smooth. However, comparing the two extensively, the Maestro Mini does seem to have more treble extension than the Maestro SE, which helps with bringing out some of the details, and it makes the trumpet sound more open compared to the SE, but this is one of those examples where more drivers help because the SE is better at separating the sounds, hence helping with the imaging, which I'll explain more later. But if we're talking solely about treble performance, then the Maestro Mini would be better if you prefer a little bit more air to your presentation, which I do. And I wish the Maestro SE had just a little bit more treble extension, which I have tried doing that with EQ, and it just opened up the sound a lot more, and that's my own personal sound preference. Actually, I'd say they would both benefit with having just a little bit more treble in their tuning, just to help refine that sharpness. However, if you're very treble sensitive, then I would still say both these IEMs are relatively forgiving, but it does sacrifice that absolute clarity, which in turn takes a hit on resolution. So these two IEMs may not satisfy treble hits in my humble opinion. For Soundstage, since both of them have a more forward presentation, it makes for a slightly more intimate presentation. However, due to the deeper bass presentation on the Maestro SE, it gives more depth to the Soundstage, and it sounds more like it's surrounding you compared to the slightly flatter presentation on the Maestro Mini. For imaging and resolution, despite the Maestro Mini having more treble extension, if I'm comparing between the Mini and the SE, the Mini is still lacking in that separation of sounds. I'm not sure if it's the driver configuration or the fact it has a lot more drivers on the Maestro SE that are helping with the imaging and separation, but the details on the Maestro SE are much more distinct, and the left and right sound positions are much clearer for me on the SE. And while it's not bad on the Maestro Mini, the Maestro Mini does sound a little bit more blended together compared to the Maestro SE. The imaging on the Maestro SE are simply a joy to experience, and I can't get enough of it. However, as mentioned earlier in the treble section of the video, while it is clear where the sounds are coming from in the presentation, it is not as sharp as it could be due to the treble or lack thereof. If the SE had a bit more treble extension, it would have just made the sound perfect to my preference, because it would have made the details a lot more distinct and sharper, and as of right now, it sounds a little dark, and it's ultimately all about preference. For source and power, due to having lesser driver configuration, the Maestro Mini is of course a lot easier to power compared to the Maestro SE. On my FiiO KA2 dongle on my MacBook, I'm getting to about 60 out of 100 for the Maestro SE and about 45 to 100 for the volume for the Maestro Mini. And on my HiFiMan EF400, I'm getting to about 9 to 10 o'clock dial for the Mini and about 10 to 11 o'clock on the Maestro SE. So to sum it all up, the Maestro Mini is indeed an introduction to what the Maestro SE is capable of. The Maestro SE is indeed, in my humble opinion, a step above the Maestro Mini in terms of overall technicalities and sound presentation. However, as the price is suggesting, is it 4 times better? To be very honest, no. However, in this hobby or any other hobby, once you're at a certain point, whatever you're paying for are for the incremental gains that you may receive. Just like how motorheads will pay thousands more to get that 0.5 seconds out of their engine, how someone would pay thousands more to get that little bit of additional speed on their computers, it's the same for this hobby. You may not be getting 4 times the sound, but for me personally, it's the little things that I notice in the sound that makes the Maestro SE worth it, at least for me. Even though it may not be perfect, it's still an amazing experience. Whether or not it's worth it to you, that's entirely up to you, and wherever your stance may be, you're not wrong. That is the whole purpose of these videos. It is to simply share my honest experiences. That concludes my comparison of the Maestro Mini and the Maestro SE. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you go for the Maestro Mini or the Maestro SE? Thank you all very much for watching, and until the next experience, take care and happy listening.